Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars, some of my favourite people, and people who take the world by storm. And there's a lady who I saw on Monday night in Forbidden Broadway here in the West End called Christina Bianco. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Firstly, you are delicious.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Secondly, you'd never consider an ugly ginger fella like me, would you?
Well, I would, but I do have to say I am married, so it might make my husband a little uncomfortable.
Let's not get into the technicalities of it. We don't need to waste time on that.
No, I have nothing. Actually, I quite like gingers, I do.
Oh, no, you mustn't, love, because you know what they say, a rusty roof equals a damp basement. You don't want that, love, do you? Hey, now listen, I've got to talk about you because that's why we're here. You are so stunningly gifted. Firstly, you're an amazing singer. That in itself is a talent. But what you then do, and this extra level of sort of mocking people, impersonating people, is so brilliant. I just saw a lady called Veronica in Las Vegas, yes. And you need to be there doing your show with her because this is the best in the world. You're a master at it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, I think Veronique is wonderful in Vegas. I've been really lucky. I always, apparently, my parents tell me, always sang along to various artists and recordings, and sometimes would sort of take on the tone of whoever was singing. But I didn't do anything with it. I didn't know I was really doing impressions. I was just having fun singing, and every style of singing has always been what I wanted to do. And to now get to have a job where in Forbidden Broadway, but also an audience now on the internet of people who actually like to watch me do these impressions and sing in these styles and voices. It's way too much fun for me. I'm so lucky that I get to do it.
And it's interesting. I mean, my career has taken off. I was at the BBC for 15 years doing radio, which is pointless because the second you've broadcast it, it's gone. Now I do everything via YouTube. People will find this forever. And that's certainly where you've grown, isn't it? Your appearance on Ellen, I think, was probably the biggest, where if you get an endorsement from her, you've taken over the world because she's internationally respected and popular.
It's true. It's true. I think people have recently said to me, what's the coolest thing you've done since, you became a quote-unquote YouTube sensation? And I said, well, you know what? It has to be when the very first time I ever came to perform here in London, I scheduled a few shows at the Hippodrome Casino, Matchroom Room. And we put, I think, 1 or 2 shows on sale thinking nobody really knows who I am. We'll just see what happens. One of my YouTube videos went viral. My shows sold out. They added 2 more. They sold out. And there's nothing, I can tell you, there was no feeling I've ever had in my life, nothing like it, where you walk into a room in a country where you don't really know anybody, and the room is filled with people cheering for you. Celebrities get that. I'm not a big celebrity. I'm not a household name, but the fact that the reach of YouTube and how widely spread across the world it is and how it brings everybody together is unbelievable, that I can go into a whole new world, a whole new circle, and have an audience just there waiting for me. It's amazing.
But what's brilliant about you is you are famous and a celebrity and brilliant at what you do. You've got core talent, and I so admire you for that. There's so many going in through the back door who get their knockers out or do something ridiculous or go on Big Brother, and it's short fame. Yours is for the long haul, and you can tell that in your video, and I love that about you. We got to see you here on the Paul O'Grady show recently, and again, he's the Ellen of Britain, where he's got such a mass public.
It's a common knowledge now, I'm a total Anglophile, and when I was told that I was going to be on the Paul O'Grady show, I freaked out. I was so happy because I love him and I love the show, and it's hard. I really can't watch that show in the US yet. I have to sort of sneak it and get it from friends. So I've had a blast. And then the icing on the cake was they said, oh, by the way, one of the other guests on the show that day is going to be Bonnie Tyler. So no pressure singing a Bonnie Tyler song, her most famous song ever, in front of Bonnie Tyler. It was one of the most surreal and fabulous experiences of my life. And I'm grateful for that exposure, particularly for the UK to sort of embrace me and what I do. As an American, it's been just really, really special. And I'm grateful. I would love to get on TV as much as possible and do what I do. And I think what also is nice is that now getting to do Forbidden Broadway here is a perfect transition because I am an actor and a singer, and I also happen to do impressions. And that's what most people are they associate me with that, but of course I do my own thing as well. So this show, being in a proper West End show, making my West End debut, is amazing in itself. But as far as my career, it's not just fun, but it's very helpful for me, because this show, I get to show off impressions, but also singing and acting in my own right. So it's the perfect sort of next step to show people, I also do this, you know, so it's good.
And the irony is not lost. This was on at the Vaudeville Theatre, and vaudeville was really the creation generation of show business here in the UK where we had special acts, which is what you would have been. I mean, it's almost full circle, isn't it? You're in the West End doing this incredible rare talent that so few can do well in a show that parodies other shows. Let's talk about Forbidden Broadway for a minute, because I first saw this just off Broadway, actually, isn't it? And it was in this little crappy theatre, and I was
It's always in a little small theatre. It's part of its charm.
So it should be. And what it does, it tears down the nonsense of the West End, where these people take themselves so seriously in these mega $1 million productions, and you show the stupidity of it and the silliness of it, but you do it with heart, don't you? And love.
Yeah, the saying that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery is very true, and not just with impressions, but with parody. It's very true. If this show was mean-spirited, nobody would come, and it certainly wouldn't have lasted for 30 years, and it's a show, as you said, from New York that has a cult following. I mean, as a kid, I listened to all the soundtracks. I went to go see the shows, and and some of the bits can be a little more sound a little more mean-spirited than others, but in the context of the show, it's always placed at the right time. All the numbers that are a bit more fun. I mean, spoofing the Disney musicals, there is so much material there just to sort of poke fun at the whole Disney taking over Broadway in the West End. And everybody knows those shows, and everybody knows Phantom and Les Mis, so if you're spoofing something like Once, people might say, oh, it's a little mean. Well, it's not mean at all. It's just we're bringing awareness to a very popular show. We're honoring it because we think it's worth parodying and taking the mickey out of it and all. And yeah, so some people might say, oh, it's a little bit mean. But I guarantee you, everything is done with love. To be in this show, you've got to be current, haven't you? That's right. I mean, people say, a question that we're always asked is, do people get upset when they see you, making fun of them? And the truth is, we don't see it as making fun, we see it as honoring in a very... You are making a bit of fun, though, let's be honest. You don't want to say it. It just sounds so mean. It's all in how you phrase it, you see. But and also, I always say, hey, I didn't write it, and it's true, I didn't. I'm just paid to do my job. But I think people really see it. The celebrities, be it the actors in the shows, the writers, the directors, and of course the huge producers like Cameron McIntosh. I'm sure at this point that they really see it as a privilege. It's an honor to be lampooned, because it means you've made it. We're not going to talk about you if you're not popular, if you're not famous, and if you've not done something deserving of a mention. There's a little bit with Elaine Page where it is a little bit cruel, but it's so brilliant. Well, I think the very funny thing is that the cruelest, quote unquote, to use your word, thing we would do for Elaine Page is poke fun at her height. Now, the real joke about that is I'm exactly the same height as Elaine Page. So you have to know that when I'm doing it, I'm actually making fun of myself at the same time. I'm the same height as her. So see, Elaine, it's all done with love, EP. It's all done with love. How do you feel after a 2-show day? I mean, your voice is every sort of Broadway dream, and your 11 o'clock numbers, of which there are many in this show, really allow you to shine, but it must be exhausting. It is exhausting, but it's fun, and that's the thing, is it's all about pacing. And like any job, particularly in the arts or in sports, you train, and you train for how to get through a show that way. And the great thing about this show is we get to sing many different styles, which means I have to do big belt numbers and then also very high soprano numbers. It's hard to do them all in one show. And we like to say, not to pat ourselves in the back, that a lot of the leads in these West End shows we're parodying, those leads sing 1 or 2 big songs in a show. Well, we're doing all of them all in one show, so it is challenging, and you have to be careful. Toward the end of the week, you just, I don't know, you take it day by day. I mean, I could have been really, really careful last night and gone to sleep really early, but I didn't. Because I thought, well, I'm all right. But you drink your tea, you don't party, you don't drink yourself silly or anything, you don't go out screaming. But you have to live your life as well, and I think we're a good group. We're all really fun, and we're all pretty strong vocally. I think the people that cast this show go out of their way to find people that they know can handle 8 shows a week. And I said in my review, if you weren't amazing at what you did, this show wouldn't work, because if the songs were sung badly, it wouldn't be a parody, it'd be a mess. No, it's a really nice, and I'm fortunate that people have said about the cast of Forbidden Broadway, both in New York, but particularly here at the Vaudeville and at the Meunier when it was there, somebody always tends to say, the nice thing about this show is you look at the actors and you know that they could play all of the roles that they're parodying, and that's a really nice thing for them to say, and it's a huge compliment, because we are parodying and singing some of the greatest songs that these huge celebrities have sung, so it's really nice of them to say that, and that's personally, it's a great boost that sort of thing, they could help you through that second show on the last day of the week like today.
I'm sure they will, and I must be a nightmare for you. I'm so sorry on a 2-show day at the end of the week coming and asking to talk to you. I just got to finally end with how you go from singing like everybody else does, and then this sudden opera voice that you can just pull out the bag. How does that happen, where one minute you're singing Idina Menzel and the next minute you're Kiri de Canoa, and doing both spectacularly?
I don't know. I always say I should have studied harder in school when it came to the more opera training. I went to a lot of teachers in college. I went to NYU, School of the Arts, who all tried to say to me, oh, you should really only sing soprano. And I love rock and roll, I love country, I love jazz, I'm a big belter, so I didn't really put all my focus on that. And it's amazing how much work I've been given in theater, singing those high soprano notes that I try to avoid so much. But it's, again, it's practice. I really do have to warm up. I mean, I can't switch voices, be it impressions to my own voice or from belting to soprano. You can't do it if you're not warm and you don't have comfortability in your voice. And so it's definitely a challenge, and I won't lie, of course, some days it's easier than others. Some days you wake up and you're like, well, I don't know why it's not there, but it's a little more strained today. But the beauty of the show also is you get into a routine. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I did Forbidden Broadway 6 years ago in New York, doing the Kristen Chenoweth number that I do here. Slightly different lyrics, of course, now to update the number. But singing Glitter and Be Glib, which is, of course, a Glitter and Be Gay parody. And if you had told me that, oh yeah, you're going to do 8 shows a week and you're going to sing what Cunegunda sings, you're going to sing a high E or a high E flat. I mean, it's ridiculous. I always feel like I don't have a right to do that. I didn't train for that. But I did. You know, I did go to school. I did take the training. And you remember and you go back to it, and all your training and all your practice, it's like riding a bike, it does come back. So as long as you are flexible and you practice and you warm up, then yeah, it's not quite as daunting.
Christina, I've spent 20 years interviewing people like you all over the world. I've spent 10 years in Vegas seeing some of the biggest stars in the world, and seriously, you're up there with the best. I have not been blown away by somebody so consistently brilliant in a long time. You've got a huge gift. Go and search on YouTube and see what I'm talking about. Christina Bianco, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.